process for us. And we've been having talks about trying to take a big picture view in this LMS review. So we're not taking a view that is just going to look at, okay, what teaching tool is there, and what, like, you know, communication tools are there between me and my students. We want to look at it from an institutional perspective, and with the goal of being learner-centered, helping reduce faculty workload. So we want an LMS that is efficient and makes it easy for you all to work in there, and to contain costs. So our suspicion is that we have multiple systems on campus that can do the same things as an LMS if we will use the LMS. So we want to take that big picture view as we do this whole LMS review, so that we're cognizant of all the work you guys have to put in to, you know, with assessment, tracking, reporting, putting data in systems. We want to see how much of that we can get done in the LMS so that it is helpful for you all. So I just want to point out the robustness rating definition that I made up. Okay, so we have efficiency and ease of use for each item, robustness, and the importance to you as an end user, or the importance that you think is for our institution. So our robustness rating, I would like you to consider flexibility of the learning management system for future innovation, because we don't want to get stuck where we are, we want to innovate. How well the tools and the features meet current teaching and learning needs of students, beginning faculty who have never used an LMS, and experienced faculty who really like to get hardcore about using everything in it. And then finally, to what extent the LMS can support other things like advising, assessment, reporting, tutoring, attendance tracking, things that you need to do some of, or other people in the institution need to do. So we want to work together in a team spirit from a big picture view to get this right. So thank you all for coming, and I'd like to, I guess, introduce Greg first, and then you can take over.
Absolutely. Thanks, Pam. Good morning, everyone.
Good morning. Good morning.
So, as Pam mentioned, my name is Greg. I am one of the account executives here at D2L, supporting Maryland and some of the other surrounding states. With me today, I have my colleague Andrew, who is the manager of our what we call our mid-market sales team, and also Brad, who is the manager of our solutions engineering team. I want to give them a quick opportunity just to introduce themselves. We'll give a quick introduction about D2L, who we are, what we do. And then from there, I'm going to pass it over to Brad. And Brad is going to walk you through the platform, what it is today, what we've done, where we've come from, and some of the tools that are going to make your lives as faculty a lot more efficient, a lot easier, but also provide your administration with the tools to innovate, flexibility, intuitiveness, all of those reporting tools that Pam mentioned earlier, and really provide a robust solution to help Allegheny and yourselves move forward over the next 5-10 years without having to look at LMSs or other software within like 2 or 3 years down the road. With that, I'm going to pass it over to Andrew. Let him introduce himself.
Cool, thanks, Greg. Thank you for having us today. My name is Andrew Fung, and as Greg mentioned, I'm responsible for our mid-market sales team. And what that really means is I get to work with a lot of similar institutions like yourself, go through these evaluations every day. And I think something to keep in mind is that, you know, we want to make it super easy for you to make this decision, right? You're not reinventing the wheel by any means here. You're not the first school to go through this evaluation before, so we want to help you support your evaluation as you move forward. So I've been with the company for the last 6.5 years. Really, what got me stuck in education is just passion for helping students, faculty to reach their goals academically and help you teach the way that you want and help students be as successful as they can. And so that's what's kept me at D2L for so long, really passionate about going and telling the story to all the different schools that I go to every week. And I'm here to support Greg today, and I'm really looking forward to your questions today.
Yeah, and I'm Brad Kettlars. I'm the manager of the solution engineering team at D2L. I would like to invite Pam to do an introduction at all of our presentations across North America. Pretty much nailed it, asking you guys to think innovation, think about flexibility, think about smart tools that are going to enable you to move forward. That pretty much sums up Brightspace. So you guys can just check those boxes and put that thing down. We pretty much nailed it. So anyway, yeah, I'll be doing most of the demo. You'll hear a lot of my voice today, so I apologize up front. But we're going to fly and we're going to try and have a little fun.
Awesome. Thanks, Brad. I want to just touch on a couple of things that Pam mentioned at the beginning of this presentation. She used some really cool keywords that I think do a great job at defining what we do at Brightspace and what we built our platform to do. Efficiency, easy, robust, flexibility. These are all words that describe what we've done at D2L over the last 19 years in building this LMS. Now, about 2 years ago, we took and basically 100% customer feedback, so from faculty, administration across all institutions in North America, to build a platform to better serve you. So with that, what we've done is what you're seeing on the screen, we have developed what we call our Daylight version of Brightspace. And this whole version is designed to make your life as faculty a lot easier, give you a one-stop shop to do everything you need, whether that's creating course content, creating quizzes, assignments, everything you need, but then also give the administration the flexibility on reporting, giving them access to data, and helping them make data-informed decisions for the institution without having a disruption to the faculty experience. And then for students, what we've done is we've created an environment where you can access it no matter wherever you are. So being mobile responsive, so being able to pull up a browser anywhere you are and have full access to the platform, but as well giving you access to apps for notifications when a new assignment is due or when your grades are posted. So really built on feedback throughout this entire presentation. I welcome anyone in the room to ask questions. We are recording the session, so feel free to come back and review any of this as after the presentation is completed. We'll be repeating the questions so you can hear them on the recording. But with that, I am going to turn it over to Brad. He will walk you through what we've done over the last couple of years.
All right. So, good morning.
Good morning.
All right. Welcome. You guys are students, I'm assuming? Okay. Or just really young faculty? All right. So, whatever that works. I'm just going to let that one go. And we'll keep on cruising. So,
One.
yeah, that was a thumb up, right? Yeah. Okay. So, welcome to Brightspace. We are really excited, as Greg said, really excited to roll out this newer user interface. About a year and a half ago, 100% built on user feedback. Faculty said, listen, we want an environment where it's really easy to create content, add content, put in announcements. Maybe we want to be working on an iPad or a tablet, make that work. And we said, okay, no problem. For students, they say, listen, apps are great, but a lot of the vendors out there, as we know, the apps have limitations. You can do this, but you can't do this. You can do this, but you can't do that. So what we've done is we created a responsive environment so you can literally do everything in the platform, regardless of the device you're working on. Okay. So I'm going to show you how that looks. So this is the environment on a PC, right? Now, if I were, let's say I'm working on a tablet of some sort, iPad, etc., you can see that the screen is going to respond, the widgets are going to move around, it's still going to be a great experience. I have access to everything. Now, let's say I were to minimize that down even further. I'm on the bus on my cell phone and I realize, oh, I forgot to participate in that discussion, or I didn't do that quiz I was supposed to do. You can absolutely have the exact same experience, access to all those tools right on that mobile device. And so you'll notice the widgets have fallen in line. Our navigation bar has condensed down to a hamburger icon, okay, my favorite icon on the platform, okay, good old hamburgers. It allows you to easily navigate to all the same tools. It allows you to easily jump into all your courses, and it allows you to access all of those same tools that you would on a PC, okay? So that is responsive design, fancy name for really telling you can do everything you want, regardless of the device you have in your hand, okay? A couple other things I wanted to highlight about Daylight. Basically, faculty and students told us we just want clean, we want simple. Remove the interface as much as possible. so that we can focus on the content. And that's what we've done. You'll notice it's very clean, very easy, and it's also customizable. So for example, if you don't want the Let's Begin widget, or you want to create a widget on campus that says, hey, it's the first week, these are some of the things you might want to consider. Create a cool widget and drop it in there. But right out of the box, Brightspace comes with 25 or 30 widgets. So of course we've got announcements and updates and calendar and all the stuff you'd expect from an LMS. The nice thing there is we're not limiting you to just those elements of our platform. So when it comes to innovation, when it comes to scalability, when it comes to thinking, kind of future-proof, dangerous word, but I'll throw it out there. Basically, that's Brightspace. That's the ability to make the platform your own. Okay. I've seen some campuses create some really cool widgets for the home screens. Maybe you want a campus map, and for a student, you hover over the library, it takes you all the library resources. You hover over the business building and it takes you to that, those resources. So you can do pretty much sky's the limit in terms of innovating the platform. Now, as a user, if you are entering certain courses all the time, right? So faculty, how many courses are you teaching at a time? Faculty, throw out a number.
5.
Okay, 5. We'll use 5. So you're teaching 5. So you're going to want those 5 courses available to you very easily on your home screen. Right? So what I'm going to do is I can very simply go into my little waffle icon, my second favorite icon on the platform, and we can very simply customize this experience by adding that course. And you'll notice we now have that tile easily accessible on our home screen. Now, at the end of the semester, I want to still have access to those courses potentially, but I don't want it on my home screen anymore, so I can just remove it. Okay? So literally customizable all the way down to the user level. Okay? Now, let's level set real quick. What tools are we looking at? What is this platform all about? Well, this top bar here is what we call our Minibar. We're Canadian. We love our Minibars. And so this allows you, it's a constant, regardless of where you are on the platform. You can always get back home. You can, again, jump through all of your courses, pin and unpin the courses that you do or do not want on your dash. You also have a communication center here. Communication Center is very handy for students because it's going to say, hey, don't forget you have a quiz in 2 days. Awesome for faculty because it says, hey, you've got 15 assignments submitted that haven't been graded yet. Maybe you want to jump to those tools. Okay, so you'll see a little orange alert, a little orange bubble there. The color will change depending on the branding you use. And so those alerts are going to let you know I have some action items I might want to take care of. Email, discussions, things happening in the platform. For students, it'll even say, hey, there's been new content added to your course. So you can actually, regardless of the course you're in, you're probably taking, how many courses are you guys taking at a time? 4, 10, 4? All right, 4. All right. So, I thought maybe they were really eager, right, to graduate. So you got 4 courses. Regardless of the course you have an update in, it's going to appear right there in that alert button. You can easily access that. And again, without even navigating to the course, the alert is actually going to allow you to navigate to that alert. Okay. Then we have our profile area. Normally in a demonstration, you wouldn't focus a lot on the profile area, but there's some really cool elements, and this is where we really start to differentiate in the market. Okay. Everyone has a student role. All the LMSs do. They all have an instructor role. They all have an admin role. Where we really start to differentiate is the fact that we allow you to create as many roles as you want in the environment. So if you have an administrator and then you want a sub-administrator and then you've got a faculty member who's like really wants to push the envelope with the platform and wants to like really, start using APIs and LTI and like get crazy, you can actually create like a super instructor role if you want. Okay. If you want to create a guest speaker role, do you guys ever have guest speakers come in? Okay, yes. So you have a guest speaker come in. Maybe you want to give them access to the discussion board, but you don't want them seeing grades or personal information, right? So you can just create a guest speaker role and put it in. So really, really nice. That flexibility opens up a lot of opportunities for those instructors who want to push the boundaries, for guest speakers. Any librarian services folks in here right now? Okay. Sometimes they show up, sometimes they don't. The librarian services folks, I was working with a client a couple weeks ago, and they actually like putting recommended readings into courses. So we created a librarian role. They could put recommended readings into a draft folder for faculty, and then the faculty could drag and drop those readings into a published folder if they so choose. Okay, so really cool workflows that no other LMS can offer. Okay. A couple other things here really quickly. Notifications, of course, students. Do you prefer email or text? I already knew the answer. So thank you. So text, right? So instead of having to get an email, check your email, which we know you don't love to do, we can have all notifications from the platform pushed to your mobile device via text, which is really nice. So for the faculty, what that means is students are going to know stuff that you want them to know. That's great. Like, that's great news, right? So we can set up those notifications, have those push alerts out. From an account settings, oh, Pam, yes.
So what's the capability of the system to do testing at different levels? So we would have a course level where an instructor wants to text. What if we want to send it to all computer science majors to tell them that there's a cybersecurity party tonight? Or what if we wanted to send it to everybody saying snow day tomorrow?
Awesome question. Okay, so through the use of the announcement tool, if the student has set up to receive the text-based announcements via text, no, let me try that again. They've set up the notifications to receive the announcements via text, then that global announcement will absolutely go that direction. Now, what's really cool, and it's a bit of a spoiler alert, this will come up a lot today, but our release conditions would allow you to just release that to people in a different, in a select department, or of a certain role. So if it's just for students and faculty aren't allowed to go to the party, then you can just send it to the students. Okay. All right. So the release conditions, awesome, and again, something that not like no other LMS can offer at the granularity that we have. Okay. And so last thing I'll talk about really quickly is the account settings. So you can set up account settings such as you want larger font, you don't want to see everything in HTML, you want to see it in text-based. So for any folks that might have a visual impairment or using a screen reader, we absolutely are by far the most accessible platform on the market. We actually have an entire team at HQ dedicated to making sure that every tool that goes into our platform is accessible. So when we're creating content, I'll show you some of the tools we've dropped in. I won't be able to cover everything, but we are fully keyboard compatible. We are screen reader compatible. We have metadata and tagging throughout the entire platform. So regardless of the device the student may need to use or the faculty member, they will be able to navigate the platform regardless of that disability. Okay. Okay, so the next level here is our navigation bar. Basically, at the organization level, you customize the nav bar, you put in the tools you want to use. Are you guys currently using an e-portfolio tool by chance? Anybody using it all? Would anybody like to use an e-portfolio? Okay, I'm seeing some, awesome. All right, good. So I thank you guys for playing along. So the e-portfolio built in, and basically this is a really cool tool because it comes with an app for students. They can be on a placement or a practicum, or they can be in a classroom working as part of the group, and they can record video, they can take pictures, and all of that stuff automatically flows through to the platform and their e-portfolio. Now, what really sets us apart in terms of our e-portfolio is that it's a user-centric tool. So it's set up at the org level. That means the student, regardless of the faculty member having to do anything, faculty doesn't have to do anything. The student can still utilize their e-portfolio, benefit from having an e-portfolio. They can create collections, store their work over their career at the school, and then even after they've graduated, okay, they can actually take their e-portfolio with them. They take it off your server, put it on our servers, and we allow them to utilize ePortfolio for life. Okay, so that's a big high five from you guys, right? Do you high five anymore, or do we have to like, okay, whatever? Okay, so there you go.
Got it.
All right, got it. One other thing, and this might not be relevant to everybody in the room, but very important in terms of flexibility and org structure. Again, we are the most flexible and versatile on the market. So regardless of how you want to set up the organization, you can have an organization level instance of Brightspace. That's what you're looking at right now. Every user, the way I've set it up right now, would see this exact homepage. Okay, but if you have different programs, if you have business school, or you've got a nursing school, or you want to start differentiating, you've got the tech school. If you wanted them to have a different landing page, access to different tools, different navigation bar, we can absolutely support that. So what that now enables is that as soon as that user logs in, our platform is smart enough to know through login logic, oh, this student is enrolled in that department, that's the homepage they get. Really nice, really cool. Okay. You can still make school-wide announcements, by the way, just in case, because that's always a concern for the administrators. Use our global announcement tool. It hits every homepage of the platform. Okay. All right. So
speaking a tiny bit about what you just said.
Yeah.
So we would be able to have a different landing page that looks different and is branded for like continuing education, or if we developed a competency-based program, we could have all the learners go there for that one, and then like student clubs, faculty senate, things like that, we could actually have a different landing page for those.
Absolutely. And Pam, again, get her a chocolate bar or something. Okay, so Pam, I love the example you used of like the social element, because this is something I always forget to talk about, but in a lot of our institutions, a lot of our clients, they'll set up a professional development wing of Brightspace. All of the faculty can be treated like students in the PD area, but for students, they can have their own social environments. For student council, they can have their own courses, post their own announcements, have their own web conversations and virtual classroom sessions and whiteboard and brainstorm. They can set up their own calendars and meetings and all that great stuff. So absolutely, in the same platform, you're just setting up a different wing, and now the student gets a different role, so they have more control in that area of the platform. Okay.
Question.
On the e-portfolio, is that something that a student could say share a link with a prospective employer and say here's my portfolio?
Absolutely. Yeah, I should have brought a lot of chocolate bars. So yes, you can absolutely create e-portfolio links. Students can create a presentation and include all of the artifacts from their e-portfolio that they so choose. We've got really cool templates for presentations, or faculty can even create the template automatically, share that out so the students just fill in the information. Okay. So yes, links can be shared externally. From a submission standpoint, where they can actually submit to our assignment folders directly from ePortfolio as well. So we cut out, all the middle steps, and then they could just submit directly from there. Okay.
I'm kind of hogging it here, but when you mentioned professional development, having a wing of that in the LMS, so would there be a capability in that for us to track all employees' professional development so that each employee can see their own record? And is there any capability of being able to like automatically create some sort of certificate that they finished something without like a huge workload for people managing that?
So because there's a bunch of faculty in the room, I'm going to be careful about saying you could track everything they do. But absolutely, you can track all that stuff, release certifications or certificates, absolutely. Yeah. So again, spoiler alert, we have a badging and awards tool that includes certificates, which is really nice. So for students, you log in on the first day, you get an award just for logging in. That's awesome. Makes you feel good. And then you do well on a quiz, you get another award. So that's a really cool tool. Really brings to life kind of the gamification elements that we can do within Brightspace. Yeah. All right. So we are 27 minutes in and still on the homepage. All right, we're gonna fly a little bit. I mentioned the widgets. As I said, customizable. We can, really make this look and feel how you want. One thing I did want to call attention to, you'll notice that the announcement here is saying my name. I did not type my own name in the announcement. This is a really cool tool called a replace string. And so within Brightspace, as faculty members, if you're making an announcement to the course, or even as administrators, you're sending an announcement to everyone at the institution, you just put curly bracket, first name, curly bracket, and now makes it a personalized message that goes out to the individual. Now, there's just something about seeing an announcement that has your name in it. It makes you pay attention. So you see, hey, Brad, the quiz is due tomorrow, don't forget. That's a lot more impactful than seeing, hey, students, the quiz is due tomorrow, right? They get that from everybody. So a really cool way to increase that personalization, and really, as a faculty member, literally curly bracket, first name, curly bracket, and you're done. Okay? Yes.
Can we change the name though? For example, if you don't like Bradley, and you'd rather be called Brad, can we change that? I'm Ronald all the time, and really I prefer Ronald.
All right, Ron. So we can. We have a preferred name section. The student can go in, put their preferred name. We can even accept a preferred last name. Now, in your SIS, it will still remain the legal name, but all the announcements will be the preferred. Okay. Yeah, great question. Okay, let's jump into a course. So for the next probably half hour, we're gonna play around as a faculty member, okay? So we log into our English course here. This is a course in progress. I wanted to show this off because it's got some data, and it's a great example of what a course would look like kind of mid-flight. Now, right away as a faculty member, you're thinking, you know what, I don't really like that image. I wanna rebrand my course. No problem. You can go in and you'll notice our platform is smart enough to know this is an English course. So automatically it pulls up a bunch of English images. Now, if you want to go beyond that, maybe you don't like English at all and you want to put a picture of beaches, then go ahead, search beaches, and you can change that image. If you also want to take a picture of yourself, give them a big thumbs up, you can do that too. Students love it. Put that in, okay? So just nice personalization elements throughout the platform, right? Very, very easy to do. You'll notice our navigation bar has changed as well. So these are now the course level tools that are going to be available to you as well as the students, okay? So for example, in our course tools, we can jump to our calendar, our assignments, our discussions, our quizzes, pretty simple, okay? However, there's actually a better way to get to all of that stuff, and I'll talk about that in just a moment in our content area. Really quickly here, widgets, again, you'll see personalized announcement, really easy to drop in multimedia, images, videos, you name it. I saw a huge list. I think it was about 150 pages of integrations you guys have at the school. We can integrate with all of those, right? So you can have like Panoptos or any other video systems you might be working with, any LTI tools. If you guys are working with publishers, for example, you can absolutely bring in publisher content via LTI and deep linking. So I can talk a little bit more about that as we go through. Faculty and student fan favorite widget here. We have the updates widget. So again, as a faculty member, what's been happening since the last time I was here? There's ungraded discussion posts. There's ungraded assignments I need to pay attention to. So really quickly, I can now navigate to those areas of the platform and get that grading done. Okay. As a student, this is your warning. It's your call to action. It says, hey, your update is you have 2 or incomplete quizzes. You might want to get those done. Or it says there's content that you haven't looked at, for example. So that's just going to try and help you keep on track in each class. Okay. That being said, for the students as well. So did you show the students pulse?
I showed a little bit of it.
All right. So for the students, we did talk about how we have created a pulse app. You will receive notifications via the pulse app. So you wake up in the morning and you look at your phone and you get like 3,000 alerts that you've got, like, Instagram and all that great stuff. You're also going to see some pulse alerts, and that's a great way to see, oh, I've got new content added to a course. I've got like 3 things due today. We also created a calendar, so it actually shows a line graph. It's going to help you with time management, because just by clicking on the line, if you see a big spike on Friday the 5th, it means you got a bunch of stuff due on the 5th. So you can jump to that. You can start working through it right from your app. Anything you can't do through our app, even if you click on it, it'll single sign on right to the platform because we're responsive. So you don't even know you've left the app. You can do the quiz and you're right back in the app. Okay. So a really cool single sign on experience helps with that time management. Yeah. Question back. Server bugs? So we would like to say no, of course, right? I mean, we're hosted on Amazon Web Servers. I'm going to say no, we have no bugs. However, the reality is in a platform this size, there's going to be bug fixes coming out on a monthly basis. We're on a continuous delivery platform. So what that means, and this is actually a huge deal for you guys, for the 8 months running, we've had 0 downtime for our updates, 0. So what we do is, because we're on a continuous delivery method, every month we roll out in wave 1, we roll that out to your test environment of Brightspace. And then in wave 4 or 5, we roll it out to your prod site, the production site that everybody's working in. So the advantage there is, if we catch a bug in the test release, we don't push that out to the live prod sites. So I'm not going to say there's no bugs, because that would be foolish in terms of a software this size. But are we able to capture it, fix it before it rolls out to a prod? Absolutely we are. Okay, great question. Yeah.
For instructors?
I'm glad you asked that. So not only can you benefit from responsive design, but we've also created a grader app. And this grader app allows you to take assignments offline, go to the beach, grade, right? Because that's where you love to grade, right? And then as soon as you get a Wi-Fi connection, you can just hit publish all, and all of the feedback, grades, rubric, everything goes back to the gradebook. Okay? Yeah, it's awesome. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
So is the monitoring of our test site, is that included in basic support, or is that our responsibility when an update has gone out to monitor that test site for potential issues prior to it being released to the production?
Yeah, great question. That's totally on us. So just so you guys know, all of our sites are actually on the wave 1. So, and we do that on purpose, right? We want to be actively involved, playing with every update. Now, I do want to reiterate here as well. If we are rolling out an update, let's say we decide to roll out a new gradebook based on user feedback. If we roll that out in November, are you going to be happy with us? No. So we're not going to roll that out in November. We're going to roll that out in November, but it's going to be turned off. And then we're going to give you 12 months to train, get comfortable, get everybody ready. And then within that 12-month window, you turn it on when you're ready. Okay. So you don't have to worry about those fixes or anything like that. That's on us. Okay. All right. Now, a couple of quick ways. I mentioned the content area. Okay, there's a couple ways we can get to content. Content is literally the meat and potatoes of the platform. This is where you're going to create your course content, add dates, change dates, grade, all of it. That's the content. So we offer a content browser widget, which allows you right from the home page to jump directly to the content items or to the activities that you might want to jump into. And that's going to take you directly to those items. So very, very simple. But if you want to just jump to the entire content area of the platform, you click on the content tool, and here we are. We are now in the content area. Okay. Now this will take a second because it's a little bit different than some of the stuff you've seen before, but there's a reason. Okay. From a pedagogical standpoint, we have tried to make this as flexible as possible, such that if you're teaching competency-based education, we can support that. If you're teaching a Unit 1, Unit 2, Unit 3 model, no problem. If you are teaching based on learning outcomes, you can absolutely do that. So we can support any of the pedagogical approaches you want to implement throughout the platform. Now, along the left-hand side, what you're looking at is our customizable table of contents. Okay, so here's the table of contents, and this is the modules or the folders that I've created. Now, if I go into this area and I click New Module, I'm going to add a Unit 3, and we're going to call this the Fiction module. So as a faculty member, this is how easy it is for me to set up my course. I'm going to grab and drag and drop that under Unit 2 so that it makes sense. And now on the right-hand side here, you'll see I've got this nice blank area where I can start working and bringing in stuff or creating content. So I'm going to go out to my PC and I'm going to highlight a bunch of stuff. Okay, PowerPoints, images, videos, anything except for an executable file. And I'm going to drag and drop that right into the platform. That is going to load up. Okay, applause is allowed today, just so you know. Okay, all right. So that's it. This thank you for the woo. I appreciate it. Okay, so this is now in the platform. Now, a couple of really cool things that we've just done in that conversion. So you guys saw it loading up, right? What we were doing there, and the first time I click on this item, we're going to wrap this item, even though it was a Word file or a PowerPoint. Okay, we're going to wrap it in HTML. So the first time I open it, it's going to take a second. Okay, so you'll notice there's a conversion in progress here. Hopefully the Wi-Fi holds up for me. And then basically, because this is wrapped in HTML, we don't care if you have Word or PowerPoint or Excel, right? We're gonna let you view this document regardless of device, regardless of the software you have at your house. Okay, so apparently it wants to be slow today, which is awesome for demonstration purposes. But you can download this file as well. And believe me, this will work. Okay.
So this view is view only. You download to edit.
That's right.
Okay.
That's right. Yeah. So if you were going to make an edit to the file, what you would do is delete it and or download it, make the change, and then re-drag and drop it.
Is it possible for more tech-savvy instructors to go in and edit the HTML?
Well, so if that tricky question, because if you create an HTML file and you want to edit the HTML, absolutely. So if I brought in an HTML file, but not from a wrapped, because that's actually a Word document. So here's the good news. As a faculty member, if it was a Word file and then it got wrapped in HTML, when I go home and download it, it's still a Word file. Right. Or it's a PowerPoint file. The important piece there is that we don't change anything. So every time I talk to school and they're like, well, what about my Hebrew students? Every time something gets transferred over like Hebrew, right, it loses all like context and everything, right? We don't change it. We just wrap it.
It's just a safeguard that no recipients are editing what you're presenting.
You got it. Okay. Exactly. Okay. And so that will display like images, for example. example, so it's going to wrap. So we don't care if it's a JPEG or a, you know, an MPEG or whatever. We're going to display that right in line. You can see that one showed up really quickly for me, which is great. So one other element here, I'm going to try the Word document one more time. This is a big risk in a demo, but we're going to do it. There is a view as text option in the bottom right corner. And the reason why this is important, I should check this file. The reason why this is important is because for students that are using screen readers, we need to strip out that noise. So we can have a lot of images, we can have a lot of like, you know, bolding and underlining and all that stuff. And for someone with a visual impairment, that really doesn't add a lot of context for them. In fact, it can mess with a screen reader. So what we will do during the conversion process is we'll allow that to be stripped down to just text alone, and they'll view that text. Okay, so it allows the screen reader to make that experience really, really strong for the student. Okay, apparently that Word document's not going to work for me today, so we're going to keep on cruising. So after you've brought in some content as a faculty member, maybe you want to create some content right in the platform. So I'm going to click on this upload and create. You're always looking for the big blue button in our platform. That's basically like your next call to action, if you will. So big blue button, top half is files or content you want to bring in. Maybe you want to bring in something from our learning object repository. For faculty, the learning object repository is amazing because you can actually like work on content together. You can have version control. You can share a document across the entire organization. So if you have like a student academic integrity policy or something that everyone reads or signs, you can put that in from the LOR. And then if you notice a spelling mistake or the date needs to be changed, you just change it in the LOR and it affects every copy in the entire organization. Okay. If you want to, any SCORM users in here? SCORM, objects with moving stuff and fun. No, okay. All right. So if you want to dabble in SCORM, really cool, create SCORM. You can drag and drop SCORM right into our platform as well. So our team has done an amazing job on our SCORM viewer. Basically, it will keep the SCORM window of the item you created. So if you like articulate or something like that, you can create it, drag it in. It's awesome. Okay. The bottom half of this list here is activities. So do I want a checklist or a survey or an assignment? Okay, really cool opportunities there to create those activities. So let's.
Sorry, Brad, just one quick thing.
Yeah.
For faculty, this is your one-stop shop. This blue button is your one-stop shop. So if you want to create assignments, discussions, quizzes, anything, that's where you go. So from a usability standpoint, you go into the content tool, you can do everything you need to straight from this area.
All right, so we're going to create a little message here. We're not going to worry about spelling. Okay, we're not being judged on that today, are we? Is spelling on that list? Yeah, okay. So welcome to fiction, first name. Okay, there's that replace string. Okay, now in this area, this is we're creating a file together as a faculty member, and really sky's the limit at this point. I can bring in multimedia, I can type stuff, I can copy and paste from Word. Yes, it'll keep your formatting. I can, you know, bold stuff, underline stuff, whatever you want to do in this area. But I want to show you something really, really cool as well. So we've got the ability to create templates, and this can be created by us. We already have some templates in here you can utilize, or your admin team can actually create your own templates if you want. It can be branded, have school colors, all that great stuff. As a faculty member, what that means to you is all you have to do is select the template and then just copy and paste over. And what you'll know is that this has already been run through accessibility testing. You don't have to worry about colors. You don't have to worry about anything. You're creating really easy, accessible content right within the platform. Okay? Right on. I love it. Another woo. Now, let's say I don't like this font color. I decide I'm going to highlight all that and I'm going to change it. So I'm going to go into our color selector here. I'm just going to expand this window a little bit. And let's say I like this light blue. Well, you'll notice the web content accessibility guidelines are telling me this is not an accessible color for someone with a visual impairment. So it is not until I pick a darker shade, so I'll grab that scroller, and you'll see it actually went to a caution all the way up to a green check mark. I can now choose that color, and I know I've built an accessible piece of content. So really, really nice that that's built in. A couple other things we can do in this file here. So let's say I want to add some multimedia. I want to make this exciting. I can very simply go into video note or YouTube. I'm going to add a video note right now. For those courses, where maybe you want to improve the, personal elements. You want to make sure the students know who you are, right? Especially as you start looking at hybrid, more online courses, this will be a really important element. So I can create a video and I can drop it right into my content, okay? The other options there are maybe I don't want to create my own content because I don't like how I look on video, and so I can just go to YouTube and I can drop something else.
Okay, so keep impressing me. If you put in a personalized video, is it closed caption?
Okay, great question. So if you put in a personal video, we're not going to close caption. What the very next step is it asks for the description or your script. So basically you would be responsible for that. Here's the alternative. If you want to save some time, use YouTube, because YouTube has that voice activated closed captioning, and this is how easy it is. So I'm going to back out. Well, that's exactly. I didn't want to say, I didn't want to bash YouTube, but so here's the thing. I do want to mention this, guys. We are very, very dedicated to accessibility, and we're keeping our eye on the closed captioning elements. The technology just isn't there. Like even companies like Google and YouTube haven't figured it out. Brightspace isn't going to figure it out. But the second we get to that like 98, 99% accuracy, we're all over it. Like we want it in. It's just not there. So it's better to
know. I find YouTube closed captioning out of that one pretty darn accurate.
It's not bad.
And whatever.
I was gonna say that depends on the person who creates the video and their speaking
Accents and
style.
stuff are a problem.
For sure. So we are watching it again. So this is how easy it is to utilize YouTube as opposed to just creating that quick one, right? So instead of going to video note, you just click our insert stuff button. By the way, Greg named that. I'm not sure why we let him do that. But you go to YouTube.
I like that name.
It's a great name. Insert some stuff. And now you can search for your video that was closed captioned via YouTube, right? So super simple. Now in this example, we're talking fiction, right? So I'm gonna do best fiction novels, and we'll see what comes up. Sure, we'll throw in some Harry Potter stuff, and that's how easy it is to, you can actually preview it to make sure you like it, and then that's how easy it is to get YouTube into the file.
Real quick, who uses TED Talks? Anyone use TED Talks in their courses? Yep. YouTube, it looks exactly like this. If you search for a TED Talk within the platform, you can pull it in, looks exactly like that in the piece of content.
Is this content editor throughout, like so discussions, assignments, tests, whatever?
I love it. Yes. So, and this blows people's minds. Even in a quiz, if you want to ask a question about a video, you can make them watch a video and then ask the question about it. If you want to, I always use the example of a hint. So again, spoiler alert, you can put in hints that are video or images or whatever you want. So HTML basically throughout. Okay. Discussion students love because you can actually give permission to students to use the video note tool. So as opposed to typing everything, they can actually have like live video chats via discussion, which is cool. Absolutely, I'll go there for sure.
I may be jumping ahead, but I have courses set up in another LMS.
Mhm.
How easy is it to import those courses that are already set up into?
It is super easy. We have spent a ton of time on making the course import incredibly seamless. For yourselves as faculty, this requires like no work on your end. This is stuff that we completely take care of. We work with your administration to make sure all the content, quizzes, questions, all of it comes over really seamlessly. So super easy, hands off for you guys.
Quizzing.
Yes.
We're nursing faculty.
Awesome.
Our nursing tests are different than other tests.
Yep.
We have alternate format questions where we have hotspots. We have select all and apply, multiple different formats. Do you have that in your quizzing?
So we have the multiple choice. We've got short answer, long answer. Again, you can add images, video, text, all that stuff. Audio. Yep. Ordering, absolutely. Yep. The only thing we didn't have on that list is the hotspot. Hotspot is coming, but it's just not in the platform at this moment. Okay.
So to support those multimedia question types that Rick's talking about, and I noticed the video you grabbed required Flash. So are you building in Flash players? Is that something that is browser dependent? Where are you with HTML5 and this Flash?
So our video note itself in our platform is HTML5. So if the video selected, for example, is Flash.
Because that one you grabbed said requires Flash player.
Right. So it's still going to play, but the end user will need Flash, right? But we ourselves, right? It's a browser specific.
So I'm
But
just
we are-
gonna jump in. That part is actually HTML5 that is brought in. It's the preview that's Flash. That's why.
The preview, yeah.
It's not the video itself.
But any content that did require Adobe Flash is the end user's responsibility with the browser that they're using.
The platform itself is actually fully HTML5.
Right, but the video, yes.
Yes.
To answer your question, yes.
Yeah, okay.
If it requires Flash in the outside world, it's going to require it within. But all of our stuff is HTML5. So our video notes, YouTube, we're going to recognize it, yeah.
That's the issue we're running into as we're still using older content.
Sure.
But browsers are updating and going to HTML5. So.
Absolutely.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. No problem. Great question. So this is what that content looks like. I'm not ignoring your question, by the way. We're going to get there in terms of course copy. But I wanted to show you what that content looks like. So that's how easy it was to create a nice little file. Again, templates, really cool. You don't have to use them, but they're there for you. Okay. I'm going to go back to my table of contents here. And to answer that course copy question, this is actually a really nice element in Brightspace. So at the table of contents level, you'll see this import course option right here. If your administrators do not use our bulk tools, so unlike a lot of other LMSs out there, not only can we create the course shells in bulk, we can actually copy your content from one semester to another. So you come in on day one and all your stuff's there exactly like last semester, right? But if you don't utilize the bulk tools, no problem. As a faculty member, you go to import course or copy existing. Import would be if it's a course from a different LMS and you're literally going to drag and drop that archive or zip file. That's it. Drag and drop it. We're going to convert it. So we've built in the converter tools right into Brightspace. If you are already teaching in Brightspace and now you're just moving to a new semester, you click on copy course and you're going to search for the course that you want to make the copy of. And what do I have? Build a course, right? So I have to find a course that I have in here. So I find that course I want to make the copy of. And then down at the bottom here, copy all components or select. And I love this option. You click on select components and I get a nice grocery list of everything in my course. And now maybe I want to freshen up some of my assignments. So I'm just going to select individual assignments I want to bring over. The rest I'll create on my own. Everything else is going to come over. Or maybe I want to freshen up my discussions or whatever, right? So you've got that kind of granularity where you can now decide what comes and what doesn't.
The grades are a default in the copy.
Grades, yeah, absolutely. So your gradebook settings, not the student work or grades from
Enrollments don't copy.
enrollments do not come over. Okay, so discussion posts from students will not come, but your discussion topics will. Okay.
How about courses that use building blocks right now? How do they copy over?
So Blackboard building blocks?
Yes.
Okay, so basically building blocks are kind of a Blackboard solution to not utilizing LTI. So what we would do is we would have to set up an LTI integration for that course with that tool. So let's say it's a publisher tool, for example. Those links may need to be rebuilt. I'm not going to promise you that it wouldn't. But in some cases, we've actually been able to make a course copy, still have the LTI link. So it all comes down to the building block or how it was utilized. Like, Cengage, for example. I'm teaching a course right now at a community college near me, and all of my links are copying over semester to semester. But it wasn't a Blackboard building block to start, so we would need to test it. Okay.
What about, do better anyway, they're easier.
OERs.
OERs, absolutely. We'll cut in, and again, we can utilize that. That'll be an external tool for us. So again, LTI. Anything LTI. So all of your publishers, anything like your Panoptos or Zoom or like anything like that, that's all going to be LTI integration. And LTI allows you to put in like deep links within your course. So in my course, for example, that I'm teaching right now, I have a link right to the e-text. I have a link right to the SAM training, and then I have a link right to the SAM project that we have to do. So the students just see it as this linear learning path. It's awesome. Okay.
Question over here, yeah.
Okay, yeah.
So what we do in our department is we create a Blackboard master course that's integrated with Cengage, MindTap, and it has the deep links with the gradebook, and we wait out the gradebook, and then we let all of our instructors in our department copy that, so they don't have to create their own Cengage links, their own gradebook. We do that for them, and then they copy that
would that be something we would still be able to do?
Yeah, that is exactly what I did. So they had built a master for me at Conestoga, and then I just made a copy of it. So, and I was using my, well, it's Sam through MindTap. So I'm using the exact same process. Yeah. Yeah. Any other questions on the integration components and copying? This is a really cool feature, like makes it really, really easy. But again, you can do it at scale using bulk tools. It runs overnight, and then you come in and your course is there, populated. All you have to do is change dates. And yes, we have a manage dates tool. You can push everything a semester, put in a new start end date, and it adjusts all your dates for you. If you happen to get a Monday class, I'm sorry guys, you're gonna have to do some math, but we can still help you through that tool. Okay. All right. I feel like I'm talking 100 miles an hour. You guys okay? Are we good? All right. Keep going. Okay. I love hearing keep going. That's good. So back to the content area. One other thing, I can't believe we haven't even created an assignment yet, so let's do that. So we've created this piece of content. I'm going to drag and drop that content up. I want it to be the first thing I see. Oh, I realize actually there's 10 rules of writing fiction. I wanted that in the before you get started module. I'm going to drag and drop that across module. Okay. Still no applause. All right. So we'll keep on cruising. So let's create an assignment. Okay, we haven't even got there. So I'm going to go into my awesome upload and create, right? Blue button. By the way, you can rename this if you don't like upload and create. You can call it do awesome stuff, like whatever you want that button to be. And then I can click on new assignment. And
Insert stuff stays though.
Insert stuff you can't change. That's hard coded. So create an assignment submission folder. You'll notice this looks very similar to creating a file. We've tried to keep things very consistent for faculty. So I'm going to say fiction essay. Okay, and I'm going to say write 1,000 pages because I'm a great guy. I can make this a file submission. I can make it a text submission. So if I just want a URL from my students or I just want them to write right in the box, I can do that, HTML. I can also make this a group assignment, and then that way you only have to grade it once. So I would definitely do that. Okay, but in this case, we'll make it individual, and I publish. I have literally just created an area, okay, an assignment folder, which the students will now see, and they can drag and drop their files right into the platform. Now, there's a few things that we might want to do here, right? We might want to add dates and restrictions. We might want to allow multiple attempts. If we allow multiple attempts, do we want to get rid of the first version or do we want to keep both? So we can look at the progress. Totally up to you.
Fun fact, Pulse just sent a push notification that said new assignment created.
I'm actually getting Pulse alerts as we're going through. Okay. So
those are so useful.
The alerts?
Yeah, I'm just telling you, those alerts are just key. And,
it really is.
You know, a year ago when that Blackboard and the app stopped working, it was a disaster for us because having those alerts, I just think they're incredible. I mean, that's just a key tool to have.
Well, it's where we live now. Like, who did not have a phone in their hand this morning? Incredible, right? So there you go. All right, so dates, restrictions. If we want to add some dates, of course, start date, due date, end date. Really nice to have both options there. So end date is when it will actually close. Are you guys using learning outcomes?
Yeah.
Awesome. Okay.
I want to say this too, and then when they grade it, you get the alert.
You do get the alert.
I didn't even have to go. I just submitted something. I got the alert, it was due, and they graded. I read it right from my phone. I didn't go to anything else. I didn't have to log on or anything. It's just right there.
So what's really cool about Pulse is when you get a grade alert, you can actually go into the grade, but then you have to slowly swipe it over to see the grade. So you can just see the first number first, and if you're not happy with it, you just shut her down, right?
I've actually got a hilarious story about that. My wife's younger brother went to the school Brad's teaching at right now, Conestoga, and I was showing him the Pulse app initially, and he was like fiddling around with it, playing with it, and then he got one of his grades back a couple weeks later. And like, I could not believe how happy he was about the swipe to reveal tool. Like, I thought that was like one of those things where it's like, oh yeah, it's cool, it's flashy, like whatever. He loved that tool. And so like, I mean, for me, I think it's just an awesome tool for students to be able to go in, see their grades, see their assignments, look at calendars, get all those notifications. Really helps keep them on track as they're going through their courses. Yeah.
They do. Yes. Yeah.
I'm just curious, how many institutions are using this?
1800 or something. Something 1600, it's 18. I'm gonna throw out a number. 1800. It's no, it's so we are yeah. It's 1800. We have clients worldwide, right? We've been around for 18 years, so that's something we probably should have started with. We're not new, okay? I mean, the interface is new, but we've been around a long time. We are basically what it comes down to right now, folks, is there's like two key players in the market that are kind of making a lot of noise. And then there's a couple other players that are kind of on their way out, right? So that's just the reality. I'm not going to name them. You'll be able to figure those out on your own, but that's kind of what's happening. So across the industry, you're seeing it really depends on your use cases. It depends on how involved you want to be with the LMS. We are the most flexible LMS in the market. We offer the most advanced tools in the market. So if you really want to push your platform, we win schools like SNU, for example. That's the type of school where they really want to push the envelope. They want to have individualized, personalized learning, right? At other institutions where maybe there's less kind of like interaction, less need to have like things popping up and releasing, then they maybe go a slightly different direction. That's kind of the reality of it. Okay. Okay, learning outcomes. Awesome. So in our platform, we have probably the most flexible competency tool in the market. And so what your administrators are going to love about this is that you can actually set up competencies to go throughout the entire organization. So we can have organization level competencies roll down to department level competencies, which roll down to course level learning outcomes. So that means that as a faculty member, all I have to do when I'm creating this assignment is go into my learning outcomes, find that competency that was shared down, and I can see it shared down by that little green check mark. If I want to create my own, by the way, I can, okay? But by having it shared down, that means it's attached to the overall competency structure of the program or the school. So then I can go into critical thinking and I select the learning outcome that I want to be tracked. So I'm going to say I wanted this to be examined. That's what this learning outcome is. And I add that to my assignment. That is now going to be tracked all the way up that competency hierarchy. So it might take 4 learning outcomes to trigger the department level competency, and it might take 4 competencies to trigger the org level competency. But you've got the ability to track those outcomes throughout the entire org. Pam.
Can you align an outcome with an individual test question or a quiz question?
Yes, you can. Absolutely.
You're coming to all of our demos, Pam. So yes, you are. So for nursing, they love this especially. You can attach learning outcomes to specific quiz questions, meaning you can set up a pre-test, post-test scenario if you want. You can actually track learning outcomes and have content released based on where students struggled. So if I set up a quiz with 50 questions, 10 question chunks linked to different learning outcomes, if I'm a student and I pass 4 of the learning outcomes, but I fail one, now a module of content releases to help the student with that area that they struggled, right? So, right? Woo! All right. So, learning outcomes.
High fives, claps now.
It's
Yeah,
there it is. All right. I have a couple other things you guys are really going to like. So, so that's learning outcomes. That's creating an assignment. Guys, that's it. That's how hard it was. I set up an assignment. I've got content in my course. We created content together. For the sake of time, I mean, we have an awesome quizzing tool as well. I just want to make sure that we have enough time. Is it okay if we keep cruising and then maybe at the end come back to quizzes? Or does anyone like need to see quizzes? All right, let's do it. Let's go quizzes. Okay. All right, so I'm going to go upload and create, okay? And we're going to create a new quiz. Now, keep in mind your quizzes will come over from your current platform. But, well, so the form, except for hotspots. So we'll just delete those questions. But the format of those quizzes will be in their quizzing tool. So that means we will be able to ingest. Okay. So, are you using another platform for hotspots? We do have exams. So we also use Blackboard here. So our online programs are Blackboard. And we also use Canvas. Okay. So we're going to start by naming the quiz, putting in any instructions, again, audio, video, whatever kind of instructions you want here, right? Wish them good luck. And now we are going to go, again, big blue button, right? Follow the blue button. So we're going to go into that quiz setup if we want to start bringing in all of our questions. So here is the tabs that you can work through. Now, it's not that complicated. Basically, what we do is we click on add and edit questions. We can add footers and headers and all that advanced stuff too, but really you don't need to do that unless you really want to. We can add section breaks in our quizzes as well, and you can have one question related to the next 10 questions, or like, so one picture or image related to the next 10, so you can set all that great stuff up. But for simplicity, we're going to click on new. We can create a question pool. And then here's our question types: true, false, multiple choice, multiple choice, long answer, short answer. Everything will be automatically graded except for the long answer. Okay, even short answer, we can look for keywords, right? So we can grade those for you. Fill in the blank, matching questions, arithmetic, ordering. So those are the question types. Now, again, for simplicity, I'm going to create a multiple choice question here. And this is our new quiz question editor, which is really nice. So I'm going to say, what day is it? I always forget what day it is, so this is an important question. And then we're going to say Monday, we're going to say Tuesday. Okay, now all of your publisher stuff would come over. I mean, you wouldn't really need to be doing this. Okay, we're going to go Friday. You'll notice on the right-hand side, as a faculty member, you're actually seeing the question evolve, right, as you're building it out. Now, if I want to go into some more advanced options, you know, if I want to add feedback to this question, or if I want to show a description, or if I want to change the weight of this question, so it's a biggie, I can certainly do that. One of my favorites is the hint. Guys, you'll notice this is still HTML. I have the full HTML. So in my hint here, we're going to go out and we're going to add a YouTube video, and we're going to find a Friday hint. Oh, Fur Day. Fur Day. And somehow Fur Day brings up Rebecca Black. So we're gonna drop her in there. So the students are now not gonna know what day it is. They're gonna watch Rebecca Black sing Friday, and hopefully they're gonna figure out that it is Friday, right? We can randomize the question orders. We can randomize our questions within the quiz. We can set up pools so that you can have 5 questions pulled from those 20 or whatever. So all of that stuff is built into the quiz tool. Yes.
So can you easily add points after the test is graded and want to go back in?
Absolutely.
This Canvas cannot, I will tell you.
Oh, well then, yes, we can so do that, and it's really, yeah.
You have to have a whole test group, so it's a whole complicated, so good for you.
Yeah, we can do individual weights at the question level.
I think what you'll find going through this platform is that the flexibility and the intuitiveness of the platform is really there. So if you want to be able to deep dive and get under the hood, get under the surface, you can. But if you wanted just a really simple, easy way to create quizzes, assignments, it's there. You can do that. So, I mean, from my standpoint, as someone that's used Brightspace in the past, I love this capability and functionality. Awesome tools, really built around user feedback, and a phenomenal experience for faculty staff.
Is this also a survey tool?
Oh yeah, we can do surveys too.
So we actually have a survey tool. I mean, you can use quizzes and just not grade it,
Okay.
but we have a survey tool as well. The survey tool is interesting because that allows for branching. So you can say to a student, for example, like, what program are you in? And then based on the response there, it'll actually take them in the right different.
Is that part of it, or is that like an extra package?
No, that's survey is built in. Everything you're seeing today is built in. Pam.
So from what you just said, it sounds like we can survey from the institution level, and it would branch out based on, so if we did faculty, staff, student, and we had some similar questions, but different ones that could branch out, and we could have our whole survey done in one fell swoop for all groups.
Yes.
Woo!
There it is.
Could that be done externally? Like, could we send a survey out to our business partners, say,
External survey. I think they have to have a login. Now you can create them a guest user and make them a part of a survey, and that's all they would see on the homepage basically. But I think they would have to log in.
I want to go back to the quiz just for one minute.
Sure.
Multiple choice.
Yes.
Can it be set up so that no partial credit is given?
Oh yeah, you decide.
Okay.
Yeah, absolutely. So it's either all or nothing, and you can say like yes. So yes.
Questions?
Yeah, so,
probably serve about 11,000 students a year. But there, you know, a lot of them, some are long-term training, some are short-term training. Some are just for a day, for a few weeks. You know, I see a lot of things on here that we could use in our classes as well, but I guess that's the question, you know, like, what if you have somebody that's only there for a day or for, but there may be stuff that we want to send out to them ahead of time, or maybe we want to notify them, you know, through the texting, the different alerts, things like that. But again, it may be short term. Is that,
So,
I mean, how many people can we put on this system?
well, I mean, we have clients of, 100,000. We have entire school districts, right, using it. So, I mean, really, we don't have to worry about the number of users. It's really going to be about getting the users in so you can communicate with them.
And how difficult is that? Is
Well,
that a big process to get them in?
Not at all. So again, there's 3 different options for that. One, usually most schools are driving via an SIS, right? So you have a student information system. It's going to populate all your students, and then like it's a hands-off approach. The other approach is we actually have bulk tools that administrators can go into right through the user interface, and they drag and drop a CSV, and away you go. So that is an awesome use case for, if you've got 1,000 people coming in and doing training for a week. Use the bulk tool, drop them in. I would recommend even using a different role for that. So call it, training students or something. That way, you can run reports based on their data. You've got different tracking elements that you can use. You can unenroll them all in one foul swoop. So you got a lot of flexibility by using roles.
What does that do with LDAP authentication?
Yeah, LDAP's fine. So but they would need to be in the system, right? So.
And these people wouldn't.
Right, so they'll just go right to Brightspace. They won't be using your third-party authentication. They'll actually log in at like a homepage of Brightspace. Now you can use a portal or something, but they'll need to be in another system, right? So they would need to be recognized by your SIS or another server.
So unique credentials are generated by Brightspace, or is that done on your CSV file that you create to mass and load?
Yeah, well, so you guys would be creating that, right? So you'd be putting that CSV in. It would have username, email, password. Password can be auto-generated if you want, but most people like controlling that. So you can control the password, and then you would either email out the information, or like our system will automatically trigger an email if you select that option. So you can say, email every recipient that I've just created, and then it automatically goes out, has a link right to Brightspace, has their username, and then they have to change their password.
Or they can create their password.
Well, they have to, right, in that case.
For regular students, enrolled through the SIS system, would you going to Active Directory every time the students log in? Is that how you authenticate?
Well, yeah.
Okay.
So, but the student, let's say the student has do they log in on a portal currently, like a website somewhere? Or do they go?
Yes, they can. There's a web page that you can go on.
Only if they want to authenticate their use on a specific Canvas machine.
Okay.
But our current SIS operates off that authentication, so they have to be there first before they can get the approved.
And so we can do the same thing, but we do have, as I said, we have user level access as well. So even if they're not in Active Directory, like let's say you have a last minute student register, they show up to your class, you can literally create a user in the system if you have the right permissions. They can literally be in a minute.
I guess my real question is, does our Active Directory server have to be up and available and on the internet to be able to have students log into D2L?
Not if you allow them to log in right at Brightspace. So you'll get a URL, right, for Brightspace. And so if you share that URL out and allow for them to enroll or authenticate right at the user page, if your LDAP goes down, we're still up. So absolutely they can log in. Okay? But they have to have the URL and they have to know their username and password, right? And then they'll be fine. Yeah, Russ.
Easy question, I think. In terms of text alerts to students, do students have to provide me with their phone numbers or enter them in class? Because currently, I would have to literally get all of my students' phone numbers, put them in my phone.
Oh, no. Yeah, no. So they go into the profile and they type in their phone number.
They will.
They do. So, and I actually made an assignment on my first day. Yeah. So I walked in the classroom, I said, guys, we're setting up our alerts. Everybody go into profile. This is how you do it. and then I'm like, it was literally something I did in the class.
Then I can go and check to make sure they all actually did it.
And then you can drop in an announcement and listen for the bing, 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 right? Yeah.
Back to importing.
Okay.
We have rubrics associated with our assignments.
Yes.
So that if we have multiple instructors, everyone's doing the same thing. How easy are they to import, and would they go to the assignment that they're created for?
Yes. So the rubric.
Question, please. Sorry.
Oh,
We have rubrics, both in Blackboard and Canvas, and we have them assigned to different assignments. And I just asked, when we import, will they be still assigned to those assignments? Will they need to be redone? Because the rubric in Blackboard is different than the rubric in Canvas.
yes.
So if we're importing,
So the rubrics from Blackboard will definitely come over. That was an enhancement we made about a year ago to our import package. So I don't want to go into too much detail here, but there's Common Cartridge or there's Blackboard Archive. So those are two ways that you can get Blackboard courses out. Common Cartridge is great, but it loses a lot of stuff. So that would kind of be like your standard, like base model, if you will. Because we've brought over so many Blackboard clients for 2 years, that they've basically been our bread and butter. We've created our own conversion tools. So in that conversion tool, it'll bring things like announcements, like gradebook settings, like rubrics, for example. So that's something we customized and created our own to bring more than a Common Cartridge out, like standard, right, industry standard.
how about Canvas?
So Canvas, I'll have to check on the rubric. We have the conversion tool, but I'm not sure about the rubric, okay? Canvas did some really interesting things when it came to their quizzing and their rubrics in terms of programming. So the quizzes caused us some challenge, but we got it. But I'll have to check on a rubric. I don't want to lie to you.
Okay.
Or mislead is probably a better word. I don't want to mislead.
Back to tests, so like exceptions for students with disabilities, they get more time.
Yeah.
Easily done?
Absolutely. So you go into the quiz, go into the restrictions area, and you can just allot, you get to see all your students in the class. So if you have like multiple students, you can do it at the exact same time. Time and a half, or a no time limit, whatever you need there. Yeah, it's called special access. It's a little button in restrictions. Okay, we haven't even got to the good stuff yet, guys. Okay, so buckle up. Okay, well, here we go. I'm gonna cancel, I'll save this quiz. Okay, I gotta get to this because I haven't even talked about our main differentiators yet. Okay, so I'm gonna go back to content. We have now done a whole lot of stuff. We've created content, right? Created assignments, quizzes. Here's all our stuff. Now, let's say I've been teaching this course, for a while, and I know that students struggle with this fiction content. So I'm going to create a fiction remediation module. And if I create it at the highest level, no problem. I'm just going to drag and drop that up, and I'm going to drag it right into the fiction module so it becomes a sub module. Or I could create it right here, okay, where it just says add a sub module. Now, I'm going to go out to my files, and I'm going to grab this remediation content that I think is going to help my students that were struggling. Okay. Now, this is the important piece. I don't want all my students to see this stuff. So I'm going to go into our dates and restrictions, and I'm going to click on our release conditions tab. This, and I know, guys, Blackboard has a couple, Canvas has a couple, but this is why so many competency-based schools, nursing schools come our direction, is because of the long list, more than 35 release conditions to choose from. Why am I sending this out? Who needs this content? Am I sending this out because they didn't complete the checklist? Am I sending it out because they didn't enroll in the group? They didn't achieve the learning outcome? Or they received a certain mark on a learning outcome? They didn't visit the content like I asked. Guys, what's really impressive about this list is that a lot of the activities, like submission to an assignment folder, well, that's great. But we challenged our developers a couple years ago. We said, we don't want to know what they did. We want to action on what they haven't done. And they're like, do you know how many things they might not do? And we're like, we know, do it, right? We need it. So the developers came through, like no submission on a quiz. We can release additional content. We can release announcements and reminders to just those students that haven't submitted to the assignment folder. So we're not bugging the entire class. We're focused. In this example I was using, where we're creating remedial content, I'm going to say based on a score on a quiz, and I'm going to choose that quiz. I'm going to find my fiction quiz. You can see I create a bunch of them.
And I'm going to say any student who scores less than or equal to 59 on this quiz is going to receive this additional content. Now, that is amazing that they just got additional work. We're saving ourselves a boatload of emails, right? And students panicking because they didn't do well on a quiz, right? But there's one other awesome tool here, and that is our intelligent agents. Awesome tool, terrible name, okay? What this tool does, super.
Oh, he blames me for all of it.
That was actually Andrew who named that. So what intelligent agents can do, and these can be set up at the administration level as part of your course master and shared down. So as an instructor, all you have to do is attach it to the assignment you want. This is going to send an automated email personalized to the student saying, hey, student, and it's going to be personalized, right? So, hey, Brad, I'm going to open this up so you can see what it looks like. Okay, so here's the message. Okay, hi, Brad. I noticed you scored low on the quiz. Don't get discouraged. I've released some additional content to you. Here's my office hours, whatever. Now, the good news is you can set it and forget it, right? Like that guy in the crock pot or whatever, right? Set it, forget it. Okay. So you set this up one time, and it now just, do you know what infomercial? Anyway, okay. So you set these agents up, and now every term after term after term, they're just going to trigger based on student activity. Now, take this one step further, guys. I love talking about the low score on a quiz because it resonates, but I'll tell you, there's so many awesome use cases because you can use every release condition we have in our toolkit. So you can send things out like the student hasn't logged in 4 or 5 days. Send them an email. You can say the student didn't complete the learning outcome like they were supposed to. Send them an email. You can, hey, how many people have time to send out congratulatory messaging to their students? Hands up. Nobody. So set it up. They get over 80 on a quiz and they get a congratulatory email. Awesome. Now, for the academic advisors or admins in the room, maybe you don't want to see every email that goes out to a student that didn't do well. But maybe at the beginning of a semester, you'd love to know if a student didn't score well in the first 4 quizzes. So you can actually compile, okay, and add release conditions to the same agent. So you can say on quiz 1, 2, and 3, if they score less than 59, I want to be notified, not the student. I, the advisor or the administrator, want the email. So this is an awesome retention tool, right? Yeah.
You mentioned email, could those be text messages?
Not yet.
Okay.
I'm screaming from the rooftops to my developers, but we're not there yet. Okay. So that will be an email trigger. Okay. But yeah, we're working on it. I'm working on it in my head.
That was actually my question.
Okay, all right. We really are, like, I gotta get them there.
We have something at D2L called the Product ID Exchange, or PI, because we love our food, right? So in PI, we want our clients to put in ideas like that. Hey, it would be great to have intelligent agents trigger to a text, and 1/3 of every monthly update comes from PI. So we actually, I think we lead the market in that area where we're allowing our clients to drive our innovation, which is cool.
I just want to touch on one thing. If
Sure.
you want to go back into that and just go down to the email, if you don't mind. One thing on these intelligent agents, and I know Brad touched on being able to release to specific administrators or advisors, but if you had an academic advisor or retention specialist that was assigned to a specific group of students or a specific section, they can be copied or be CC'd on that email that goes out to them. So, I mean, if you had one quiz that you wanted them to be notified about, or maybe like a midterm, absolutely you can do that. But, I mean, it doesn't have to be set up for all of them. You've got the flexibility and capability to set this up however you want.
Okay. So again, guys, that's part of our course copy. So you can set this up one time. It is a little work, I'm not going to lie, right? You're going to set up the emails, attach them to your assignments. So maybe you only attach 3 the first semester, and then you attach 3 more, and then 3 more. And man, in a year and a half, you got this course with things popping up and badges and awards, and it's really engaging, right, for students. So really, really powerful tools. Okay. I had a request to jump into the gradebook really quickly. So let's shift gears here, and we're going to jump into our grades tool and then our class progress tool. So grades. Because we work with a lot of schools that really try and stretch us, like the SNUs of the world and the competency-based education institutions of the world, they really kind of force us to be a flexible gradebook. So we can do things like points, percentage, letter grade. We have this awesome spreadsheet view where I can literally work in the spreadsheet mode, change grades, easily access any of these grades. If I'm walking around a lab on my iPad, I can literally be dropping in the grade for the student on the spot. But I'm going to switch over to our standard view to show you what the gradebook looks like. We allow for color schemes. We allow for grading schemes to be set up across the entire institution or maybe by department. Nursing might have a different grading scheme than the tech department, right? So we can set up different schemes, different color coding, different everything. Here's what I love about our gradebook. You can see all of your students down the left. You can see all of the submissions. These little orange bubbles are indicating there's new activity. So even though I've already graded the discussion, and you can see that based on the color code, they have either responded to another student or they've fixed up what I told them to fix up and they've resubmitted. So I know the orange bubble means action. We need to grade these assignments right from here, okay? So here's the final grade. We allow for calculated grade items. So if you want to create your midterm or if you wanted to create quarterly grade columns for your students, you can absolutely do that. If you want to treat submitted assignments, so the student hasn't done anything, if you want to treat that as 0, no problem. If you want to ignore it, then no problem. And then that way they get a really accurate grade throughout the entire semester. So ignore the 0, and then as a faculty member, you just have to remember to put a 0 where those students didn't submit anything. Okay.
Waiting on the grade.
Absolutely. So you can weight by category. You can set up as many categories as you want. You can weight individual items in a category. So absolutely, you can do that.
Can you actually type in text, like, a word in there?
Yes, we have a text grade column. Absolutely. I know. We do that. Thanks for bringing that up. Also letter grades is a big one that we hear you can't also do in some other platforms out there. So letter grades can be big, right? And it's a lot of SISs are looking for a letter grade as opposed to like a score grade. So we can handle that stuff really easy. Now, of course, all of this stuff is going to flow. I mentioned already, I'm teaching with an LTI tool, and the LTI grades flow right in, and I'm actually watching my students as they're completing their trainings, sending out reminders based on what they're not doing.
Can you easily move the columns like that when I can move poetry history to past peer reviews?
Yep, so actually, I'll go into manage grades really quickly. Do you guys, anybody in here ever use Angel? Back in the day? Oh, poor Angel. It's Blackboard bought Angel and then ruined her, but the Angel users, so if you remember Angel, it was beloved, right? People loved it, and they loved the gradebook. Well, our gradebook mimics a lot of that. So in our gradebook management area, this is where you can move your columns around, set up your categories, set up your weights. All that stuff is done from the manage grades so that we're not cluttering up the actual gradebook itself. So you've got the manage grades area, you've got the enter grades, and then you also have schemes. I will also mention we have a gradebook setup wizard. So if you're one of those instructors that wants to like really embrace Brightspace and say, I'm not using my old stuff, I'm going to start from scratch, you can use our wizard, walks you through all that stuff. Okay.
What would be under settings then? Or is that an admin thing?
It's more administrative. But settings is important actually for like those things like what do you want to do with zeros, right? So are we going to ignore those or make them count as a 0, that kind of thing. Okay.
On the column management, I know somebody put in a comment about can you automatically order them by date? Or do you just do you drag them yourself? Or how manual is that management of the column?
So see this new button here, right? I can add a new item or a new category. I basically tell the system where I want that item to fall. Now, when it comes to, so I would set up the type of grade this is going to be, etc. Okay, let me go back to grades and I'll show you that manage action. When you go in to manage the entire gradebook, okay, we're going to go to reorder, and you're basically going to select based on number. So I'm going to say, okay, I want poetry history to be number 1. And so I would just click on number 1, and it's now going to slide it up. So for each category, that's what you get, and then you can also reorder your categories. So it's just based on number. It's not drag and drop yet, but it gives you a very clean view. As we're going through Brightspace, guys, you can imagine there's a lot of tools, right? We've been in a lot of areas of the platform. We're daylighting tools as we can, right? So slowly but surely, drag and drop is like hitting things like Gradebook. Drag and drop is awesome, like in the content area and for students to submit assignments. But slowly but surely, we kind of are just taking over the tools. Okay. Yeah.
Is there a capability to copy a grade center column? So like, for example, we get participation grades every single week, so now I have to make 15 different columns and the process for every single time I make that. If I make one, can I copy it 15 times?
Let me see. I don't know. That's a great question. I've never been asked that question before.
Do you want to do that? I don't get that. Like, I don't know why you would want to, so that each week I can grade their attendance, their participation.
So that's a good question. Attendance tool, do you have an attendance?
We do have an attendance tool.
So that might solve that problem. Maybe you have one column.
And the nice thing about the attendance, so the attendance, yeah, basically for every week, or if you see them twice a week, you just set up a column for each one. And that one you can add like multiple columns. The nice thing about our attendance tool is if like the majority of your students that are there, you can select everybody's there and then deselect the ones that aren't. So it's kind of just a time saver there.
Can you just keep one column for attendance then, and let it just keep track of points or percentage or whatever they want?
No, if you actually want attendance to be a grade item per se, then the way I would do that is I would use a quiz. And I talk about this with people all the time. You set up a 1-question quiz. Was I here today? You password protect it, so they have to be in the classroom to get the password, and then they hit that, right? So, and you can even track IPs of where they did. So if their friends text them the password, but they weren't on your school IP, then you can take that mark away. I don't know if it's worth your time for a mark, but that's up to you, okay? Okay, I gotta show you one other area, because the Gradebook is awesome, but faculty feedback, they said, man, it would be really nice if we had a bird's eye view of what's going on in our course. So I know some other programs out there offer something similar, but we've color-coded ours to make it very simple for faculty to call attention to students that are struggling. So I right away am noticing Joey Tribbiani is struggling in my course. So I can actually drill down here, guys, and find out what's happening with Joey. So I'm going to go into his learning outcomes. I see he hasn't even started 2. The one he did try, he actually scored a 60, even though my threshold or my expectation on that was a 70. So I can hover over his thumbnail, send him an email or an instant message. Instant messages within the platform. If that little gray bubble, oh, it's green. He's online. He's online because I logged in. That freaked me out a little bit. I'm not going to lie to you. So Joey's online. All right. I was having a moment there. Okay. I love friends. So we can now interact with him, right? We can call attention to him, correct this action right away. Now, here's something I absolutely love, okay? Go into content. Joey comes to see me in my office and says, Brad, I don't know why in week 14 I'm struggling so badly. You've spent 2 minutes and 33 seconds in the course. And not only that, Joey, but everything you did look at in the course, you spent 6 seconds on, 1 second. So as a faculty member, we're arming you with the data you need to have an educated conversation with the student. If they're legitimately in the platform and trying and struggling, let's try and figure out some action. But if they are just clicking on stuff to click on it so they get a green check mark, then we've got a problem, right? You guys are, yeah. I bet that's never happened, right? That conversation has never happened. There's a reason why these tools have found their way into Brightspace, right?
This is also why it was built on faculty feedback.
Yeah, you guys have nailed it. You did that so well.
Love it. Thank you.
I was wondering with this capability, if you could set up a wing of LMS or a tutoring center where the students would go in and log in to the LMS with their tutor or be assigned something, and then it's tracking what they're doing while they're in tutoring.
So we have an advisor role, an advisor widget, an advisor tool, right, that can be utilized. So if you want to set up an advisor to student, you absolutely can. If you just want to set up a course that's called tutoring, every single student could be enrolled in it if you wanted, or by department, you could have different tutoring, right? So absolutely, there's no reason why you couldn't do that. The advisor widget and tool is very, very cool because as an advisor, your home screen is going to look different than everybody else's. You want this widget where you get a dashboard of all your students and then you can click on those students and see all of their class progress for all of their courses. So it really gives you that visibility, okay? So it seems like you guys really like data. So we're gonna Pam really likes data. All right.
It's not a collective.
It's not okay. All right. So some people liked data. They were getting excited. So I'm going to end here on this tool. It is an administrative tool, but I want to make the faculty aware of it because it's really powerful. So a few years back, our clients were saying to us, like, help us make sense of our data, right? Give us that, not only give us access to data, but help us make sense of data. So we're trying to figure out the best way to do that. So we created the Data Hub, and I really need Pam on this one. I feel bad because she's going to love this stuff. No, so here, no problem, Pam. I really wanted you to hear this. This is for you. So I jumped into the Data Hub. This is mainly an administrative tool, but I want to make the faculty aware of it because it's very powerful. So what you will notice in here is 53 plus data reports. In these data reports, it's raw data. You have access to your data. But what we've done is we've broken it down so that it makes sense. Like announcements, like survey responses, like competency achievement, like quiz question analysis. Wouldn't that be awesome in nursing to see quiz question analysis and know, right? Have we created a strong or a positive quiz? Maybe not, right? So the reliability coefficient might be an issue. We also have reporting at the quiz level, by the way, for instructors. You can run a quiz analysis report, standard deviation, reliability, all that stuff. But at a grand scale, you have access to all of these reports. So you can do whatever you want with them. They're CSV. You can throw them in a BI tool. You can, if you're strong in Excel, go nuts, have at her. But at the top, okay, we've created these advanced data sets where we've actually aggregated the data for you to help it make sense. So this data, such as the Chloe report, which is the course learning outcome evaluation data set, is going to talk about how students are performing on a course-by-course level in the learning outcomes and competencies that are set up through the org. Great for tracking overall competency achievement. Yes?
The learner usage data, is that just showing that learners logged into that particular module, or is it giving you some conception, okay, you're smiling,
Yeah.
some conception that they've actually interacted with that?
You hit on Brad's like favorite topic.
So this kind of takes the that class progress tool that I showed you. It takes it to the next level for the administrator. So it will show how many emails they've sent, last email they sent, how often they're logging into each course by course, right? It will talk about how many assignments they've completed versus how many assignments are in that course that they should have completed. It will show quizzes, quiz score, like you name it. So it's going to show all of that activity in a line per course.
So it's pretty easy to come back and say you're failing because you haven't done squat.
You nailed it. So on top of having the visual, right? On top of having the visual, you now have data to support, right? That claim of, well, you know, I did everything I could and I still didn't pass this course. Well, no, you didn't.
Put in the automatic email when people can crunch. Maybe they don't get that, can't be.
So I was going to try and end at 10:02 because I know like courses and you got to run across campus and things like that. So we've got a few minutes for questions. But before I do questions, did I miss anything?
No, I think you hit on everything. Did anyone have any questions, or is there something specific you'd like to cover?
I noticed the calendar, so I'm assuming like all dates go back to the calendar, like assignments, special board, anything you have a date.
Yeah, so what's cool about the calendar is you can actually go to the calendar tool as well, but this is just kind of an at a glance where if I had something due, I'd have a little bubble here, it would be bolded. What's nice about the calendar tool is the student can select which courses they want to look at. So if I want to see all of my courses at once, I just select all my courses. If I just want to see one course at a time, then I can just select that course.
And is Alpha 365 like an LTI, or like is it integrated?
We have an awesome integration. So I had it in my old site. This is a new site. Okay.
Office 365 and navigation. And then, so the calendar, like they could, if they're Outlook calendar, they could copy a link to you know, to have all the duties onto their Outlook calendars.
Let me do that. Yes. So Office 365, absolutely. Basically what it is, we've created a widget right on the homepage. You can put it at any level of the org that you want. Did I have it set up? Okay, I had the Google Apps in this one. Basically, it will show all of the tabs. So it will show, like Office 365, it'll show their documents, it'll show their calendar, and it'll show their mail for Office 365, all in that tab. What's that, sorry?
Shared Teams and OneNote?
Not yet. Okay.
But that's newer, Teams are newer.
Yeah, but it's coming.
We're trying.
And we're trying to push
Yeah.
that out to
Yeah.
get people to use it.
I just started playing with Teams
So
not too long ago.
yeah.
Yeah, but it's not in the integration just yet. But I would imagine we'll see it at some point if it catches on, right? They're rolling out so much stuff. We don't know what's going to take, right? Sometimes. Yeah. Any other questions, thoughts?
Data sets are driven by the student ID. There's not a unique Brightspace ID. It's going to be using SIS.
Correct. Well, so we call it an org-defined ID is what you can utilize. So that can be the student number or whatever you want it to be. But that'll drive most reports. Username is also unique. Those are the two unique identifiers: username and org-defined.
It might be worth to just take 2 to 5 minutes and just show the portfolio tool really quick. I know there's some interest on that.
Yeah, e-portfolio. All right. Ooh, I can show all that. Okay. Let me go into a course. I'm going to show you guys something really nice. So I'm going to go into my class list. And instead of just seeing a student role, sometimes you really need to go in as that student to see if it's true that they're not seeing the quiz they said I'm telling you, it's not there. I can actually impersonate this user. Well, that's up to you with roles and permissions. Okay, so I can't make that promise, but it's awesome. So I am now Frank. I literally just became Frank. No logging out, no logging in as an administrator or a faculty. Super powerful. So the reason why I went into Frank is because he has some stuff in his e-portfolio, I think. Oh, I'm in my old site. That's what's going on. Okay.
View of what Frank would see when he's logged in.
Correct.
Exact. That is cool.
Yeah. Like everything.
We tell the accountants to do that kind of stuff.
Well, it's helpful on so many levels. Yeah.
So like one of the big things here is that like if you're in the content tool, for example, as instructors or faculty, you would be able to like create content, drag and drop and stuff like that. If you're impersonating the student view, you see exactly what they see. So that like the course, the content creation, completely stripped out quiz creation, you'd see exactly how they would.
But that's right down to an individual student. Yeah.
Correct.
Yeah, like I am Frank.
Will be you'll see it different from student to student based on if you sent them to a remediation module or whatever else.
Exactly, and I mean, if they've got stuff in their e-portfolio that's unique to them, then you would see this versus just a standard kind of e-portfolio. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So e-portfolio, again, it is a user-centric tool. So we usually see this at the organization nav bar, but if you want it at the course level as well, it can absolutely be a nav bar link. So however you guys want to manage that, we'll work with you obviously through implementation, but that can always be customized at any point. Long story short, with ePortfolio, we've broken it down into your ePortfolio tools. We've made this kind of like very, Facebook or Instagram, like, I mean, that's what they relate to, right? They need this scrolling and they just want to add reflections or updates. So I can drop in whatever I want right now. I can drop in a reflection. I can add files, links. I can add tags to it. I can add images or video or anything I want in this area. That would be a reflection here by Frank. Okay. Now, for a reflection or artifact I've already put in, I have the ability to share this out. I can export it. I can subscribe to the item. So if this is something I'm going to share with someone else and I want to know if there's any feedback or any activity when they've logged into it, I want that kind of alert, then you'll subscribe to that item and you'll see all of that stuff. What's really cool about this, I'm going to scroll down here. You can see Amy Chen, one of my fellow students, has asked me to look over her final project before she submits. So I can actually click on, and it's great for like peer review and stuff like that. So here's one of the projects that Amy did, and I can look over her project and I can actually review the presentation. If you put in a rubric, I could actually use the rubric to provide that feedback. But in this case, I'll just click add comment. I can type the comment back to Amy. Okay. So again, full HTML, drop in, whatever you want. Okay. So that is the peer element. Now I can filter from my entire ePortfolio. So that's kind of like the social feed, right? It's going to show everything shared and groups and all that good stuff. But maybe I just want to look at my items. Maybe I want to create collections. So you saw collections there. I can create collections so that I can group all of my stuff together, right? I want first year nursing all together. I want second year nursing, or I want bio over here, and I want physics over here, right? Whatever. So create as many collections as they want. As they're going through, they can look for just their presentations. They can look at just their reflections. They can look at the learning objectives that have been attached to even ePortfolio content, which is pretty cool. Okay.
Your ePortfolio stays with them.
With them the whole time they're at the institution, plus they can take it with them after. And they'll put it on our servers they can continue to use. So on the right-hand side, you'll notice a couple of things as well. They can create a presentation. This is mainly how they would submit something to you. They would create a presentation. They can submit an artifact if they want, but most instructors want like a full-on presentation, multiple artifacts, pictures, images, videos, whatever, in that presentation. And then the student can very simply just submit that presentation right to the Dropbox, okay? The Dropbox, well, the assignment folder. Yeah.
What's the relationship between an ePortfolio and particular courses, if any?
The only relationship really is if you as a faculty member want to set up a template of a project and send that out. They're then going to edit, manipulate, and then submit to you. That would basically be your part in it. ePortfolio, again, is user-centric. So you as a faculty member can still drive the activity. Hey, I want a reflection every week. At the end of the semester, you're going to put all of the reflections in a presentation and submit it. No problem. But you as a faculty don't have to do anything, right? Yeah.
And so if you're having badges, that's a totally different thing than a portfolio.
Correct. Yeah. So awards and badges can be set up at the course level or the org level. So again, you can like set up awards and badges for the entire institution, right? Great job on a quiz or science star or whatever, right? Have these awards set up. All the faculty member has to do is attach that badge or award to the assignment or the activity. So if the student gets 85 on the exam, they receive the Science Star Award, right?
But that would not be shareable. Like I'm thinking about actual badges for like employment purposes.
Oh.
Like we're saying you have this competency and therefore you want to share with an employer.
Yeah, so our awards and badges can actually be exported and imported into Mozilla Backpack, which is common, right? It's a standard across the industry. So they can actually take their awards and badges with them as well.